Hello, students, and welcome to the first video of our review. So the first page is going to be all substitution problems. So grab your pencils, grab your highlighters, and let's take a look at the first handful of problems. Here in number one, you are ready because the variable is isolated. So go ahead and wrap that in parentheses and draw your arrow where you plan to substitute it. So we're just going to give you a little hint on each one of these, and you'll finish the rest on your own or with your team. In number two, y is alone, so wrap that in parentheses. Draw your arrow where you're planning to substitute it for number two. Now come on down to number three next. In number three, you don't have a variable alone. However, x is very close to being alone. Let's get rid of the 5y on both sides. And now x equals -8 minus 5y. Take that and put it in parentheses and substitute it into that top equation. You can pause the video if you need more time for this, by the way, and then resume. Let's check out number four next. In number four, again, a variable is not alone, but pretty close is x right here. So we'll add 2y to both sides to get x equals -14 plus 2y. Wrap that in parentheses and draw your arrow to the other equation where you're going to substitute that for x. So this should give you a good start on 1 through 4. Now let's dive into some of these story problems together. Okay, number 5. You've got a bit of a math riddle here where you have two numbers that add to 21 and then some more information. So the first thing we're going to do is we don't know these two numbers. We don't know the value of them. So we're going to write a couple let statements. How about x equals the greater number or the bigger one? And y can be the smaller number. Take a moment and pause this video if you need to and write down your let statements. And then grab some highlighters, resource managers for your teammates. And let's highlight that first equation and be on the lookout for some buzzwords like sum, meaning addition, is, meaning equals, and use a combination of our variables to write our first equation, summing to equal 21. Grab a different color highlighter and highlight that second sentence. And again, let's look out for the buzzwords that either represent our variables or represent math operations like the greater number. That's our x variable. Is, 1 more than, and 3 times our smaller number. So we can write our second equation using these clues. So 1 plus 3y. And now we have our system. So pause for a moment and think, how are you going to solve this? Substitution would be great because x is alone. Wrap it in parentheses and substitute it in place for x right there and finish solving this system with your group. Don't forget to check your solutions. Taking a look at number 6. You've got a combination of multiple choice and short response questions. Let's take a look. A test has a total of 35 questions. All right, in number 6, we've got some side notes on the left side of your screen to help you through this process. So after you read it, let's look through what our variables are going to be defined as. So if you look in part B, it says find how many multiple choice questions there are. Let's call that x. So let x equal the number of multiple choice. And y could be the number of short response. And once you defined your variables, go grab your highlighters and let's start to highlight these questions. So we're going to highlight this sentence here in one color, and we'll highlight this sentence here in another color. And we'll be able to build our equations by looking what our variables mean and look for any buzzwords. Okay, I've marked up my sentences, looking at some of the buzzwords. Let's write our equations down. We've got a combination of multiple choice and short response totaling to 35 questions. Our second sentence tells us the number of short response, or the y variable, is or equals 5 more than, so that's plus 5 or 5 plus half of the multiple choice, 1/2 x. So here you've got your system. So you know what to do next. Pause this video, substitute, and solve this system by substituting that in for the y. Kind of glitched out there. All right, do that, and then we'll go over and flip and look at some solutions and hints on the next page. All right, we've substituted and we started to combine like terms and solve for x now. So you know what to do next. You can pause this video and finish it, solve for x. And once you get x, we'll plug it back in and solve for y. All right, I've solved for x. We got 20, plugged it back into the other equation and got y equals 15. So right now we think there are 20 multiple choice and 15 short response. The only way to be sure is to check your solution so you know what to do. Draw your check marks and plug in the 20 for x and the 15 for y and see how you did and write your answer statement. Let's go look at the back side of this. Let's look at some elimination problems in our next video.